Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Michelle's Garden. It's Saturday morning. I'm glad you could be here with me. I'm getting ready to go out to the garden and show you what my garden looks like. We've been in a drought, and plus my job has changed since, I don't know, it's been months now. I can't even remember. But anyway, I'm on a different schedule, and so my time in the garden has been different this year, and I was afraid that would happen and I wouldn't be able to get as much done like I have in the past. I've had 3 beautiful years of gardening. This year has been totally different, but some of it, I'd say at least 50% of it has been the drought that we've been going through, and then the other 50% is my new schedule. Like, I work at 4 in the morning until 12:30. I don't get home till 1 o'clock or 1:15. That's the hottest part of the day. And so I'm not able to get out in the morning early before the sun comes up. And then I get up at 2 in the morning to be at work at 4. And so I go to bed like 7:30. Now me and Jeff try to go out and water some when we can. The sun is still up around 7:30. But, you know, I have stayed up till 8:30 trying to get a little bit of watering done. And there's been times when I've had to go to bed and Jeff would go out and water for me. I've discussed in the past that the garden is not his thing, but he does help me when I need help. He has been watering for me. He will go out and help me pick, when there's a harvest to pick if I need some help. And so this year, because of my time, processing things has been difficult for me too. I have Saturday and Sunday to process some vegetables and crops when they come in, or my harvest when they come in, plus I also have to make time for family. So it's been hard, but I have been able to get some things out of the garden aside from it burning up. And even in the drought process, one thing that always grows and grows abundantly is weeds. So you're going to see lots of weeds in my garden. But I want to show you this beautiful jar of black-eyed peas. I did get to pick some black-eyed peas and shell them, so I was really proud of that because I've been waiting to get these. So we're going to go out to the garden and show you guys what's going on. So I've been busy going through the house trying to gather up every picking bucket I can find. I'll show you the shells where I had my black-eyed peas here. There's the shells, so I've got to dump those out, and that's another picking basket I can use. I've got a handful of them here. We did get some rain yesterday and last night, and I really don't like to go up here and pick my tomatoes after it's rained, because the water, goes up into the plant and into the fruit. I may have some stuff that's split, but a lot of the problems I'm having with my tomatoes is that they're rotten on the bottom. But I want to show you my elderberry bush before we go up. This is the first time that I've really gotten a good harvest of elderberries. Now I've got to get these off of here and dehydrate them. Let me show this to you. This is 2 years of growth. It's beautiful. I'll show you the elderberry clusters here. Look at that. So you just cut these off. Like, these are wet right now, so I probably won't do this, but just cut this off like right about here and take the whole cluster and pick those off of there and put them in the dehydrator. I even pruned this thing a few months back, probably more closer to the spring. My flag's coming off of there. Must have been a hard wind last night. Jeff told me before he went to work that we had a storm, but I must have slept through it. I was exhausted. I didn't hear a thing. It was nice that we got rain. This is the first time that I've really gotten any time to really get out here and do anything. I've done a few picking of tomatoes. I was growing tomatoes this year to make spaghetti sauce and some salsa. So I've got Romas, and I've got one called a Shelby tomato that's sort of like a Roma. And they've done pretty good, but still there's some rotting on the bottom of the tomatoes. Now, I had heard in the past that when you have rotten spots on the bottom of your tomatoes, that was either overwatering or lack of calcium. I don't have lack of calcium because I put calcium on my tomato plants, but it's definitely not overwatering. So I was reading up on that, and drought or lack of consistency in your watering can cause that, and I'm sure that the drought has played a big part in my tomatoes rotting. So let's go in here and look, see what we got, guys. Okay, so the best place to start is always at the beginning, and in the beginning of walking into my garden are these beautiful zinnias. And I had been keeping up with, ooh, there's a bug, with like clipping these off so more would come out, but I haven't kept up with it. This is my peppers. I've got quite a few peppers on here. I didn't even think that my pepper harvest was doing good, because when they were getting hot, they were just dropping their leaves, and I really do not have a pepper harvest like I had last year. I had some beautiful, awesome pepper plants last year. I did have some, this is where my garlic was at, and I did have some green beans planted in there, but they've not done good, and the weeds are taking over. See the weeds all around my weed fabric. I have no idea. This is an eggplant. I have no idea what that is there growing. Looks like it could be rosemary. Right here was beans. Kidney beans, red kidney beans, and I did manage to get a little bit out of this before the bean beetles took it over. These were some miniature tomato plants, dwarf tomato plants. They've not done super great, but got a little bit on them. And right here is my cantaloupe. I think I had beans in here and had to pull them out, but this is my cantaloupe, and they are taking over my eggplants. I've never had eggplants before, guys. This is my first time having eggplant. Super cool. Check this out. Here's a little cantaloupe. I am so glad to be having some cantaloupe growing. So this was my pinto beans. It does look like they are a little bit damaged from the heat, plus there could be some beetles eating on them. This is my poor pathetic green beans. I have harvested some off of them. So here's some of the tomatoes. So you can see I've got a whole lot that needs picking. This here is one of my favorite tomato plants. This is called a granny cantrell, and they're usually some really big sandwich tomatoes. All down through here. Here's what I'm talking about as far as the bottoms of my tomatoes being rotten. There's a lot of them like this. They look really good till you turn them over. These were the Shelby tomatoes. They're like an oblong tomato. Well, there was one. See, an oblong sort of tomato. Like, here's some right here. So I've got a ton of those to pick. Get the rotten ones out. This plant here was called Queen of the Night. I got this from Baker Creek. I thought it was just an absolute gorgeous little tomato. They're not, you know, like big sandwich size, but isn't that pretty? And really, really good. I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of bottom end rot with these. They've done really good. I do have a whole lot of the Shelby tomatoes though, and the Romas. A lot of these could be Romas. Here's my one and only cherry tomato. It's called the Sakura. Got a lot to pick on those. I do plant some tomatoes called the Halcinator plant. I think that's what this one is. I have not had any bottom end rot on that plant. That has produced and done really well even through the drought. Here's some more of them. They've just done awesome. Got lots and lots of tomatoes to pick, guys. I do normally try to plant at least one yellow tomato. This might be a yellow beefsteak. Here's one that's rotten. I'm sorry, I'm not getting a whole lot of good video here. There's one that's rotten on the bottom. I think I have 3 rows of tomato plants and then a few extra here and there. Check out the weeds. Plenty of them. So I had 2 butternut squash plants. I was so super excited about growing butternut squash this year, and they just gave way to the heat. They did not make it. This was where I had all my potatoes. I tried to grow some okra. I didn't get any okra plants growing. I did get plenty of weeds. Over here was where I had my cucumbers. See, they're toast. A few cucumbers there. A couple more tomato plants. My corn, guys, I'm going to tell you what, my corn did awesome. I got lots of corn off of this. Got a whole bunch of it processed and put away. I had 2 pumpkin plants. I was so disappointed that they didn't make it. It's, what they call squash bugs, I think. It might be called by another name, but that was on that plant there. I don't have any cows to feed this corn to. It'd be nice if I did. Check out the weeds here. I've got a lot of weeding to do. It may be some time before I do that. This is a Mississippi purple hull pea, I think is what this is called. This is my first year growing these. I think when they look like this is when they're ready for picking. I think the purple has to stay on a little bit longer. Here's the black-eyed peas. Let me get over here. This is what they look like when you pick them, when they turn yellow. There is a whole nother row of tomato plants. You know, one thing I haven't had to deal with a lot this year has been the tomato hornworm. Guys, look at these tomatoes. That is the Halcinator. And Haas says it's the best doggone tomato plant in the garden, and he sure is right. Now, I sell Halcinator plants in the spring. It's a wonderful tomato plant. I mean, gosh, look at that. Clusters of tomatoes. Good eating, sandwich eating tomatoes. Here's another couple of the Queen of the Night tomatoes. Here is some Shelby tomatoes. Another paste tomato. Here's a lonely potato plant. Must have been left in there. And here is a couple more of my cantaloupe plants. I don't see anything on these yet. They got blooms. That's promising. We can just keep them alive. So that's the garden, guys. That is the garden. Whole lot of weeds, but also a whole lot of fruit. And I'm gonna get out here, pick what I can, process what I can. You know, the drought, something you can't control. And whenever you have a gardening season, that's the gamble in gardening. You know, I've had 3 good seasons. This one's not been so great, but it hasn't been awful. So I have to at least be thankful for that. I'm going to take you over here to the greenhouse. There's really nothing in the greenhouse. I did not use it as much as I thought I would this year. And again, that's mostly because I haven't been able to be here. When you have a greenhouse, you need to be able to be here. You got to be here with it. These are my blackberry plants. I have not even been able to get them out of the pots and in the ground. These were plugs that I got from M.I. Gardener. They were absolutely gorgeous. They are burning up also. This was a lemon tree, is a lemon tree. It's not in the ground either. All I really had in the greenhouse were some strawberries and some pepper plants, and the pepper plants were dropping their leaves from the heat. As you can see, they're pitiful. Got a couple little peppers in here. The strawberries, they need watering, but holy moly, they were taking off. I just got to get some water in here for them. But I really haven't done much out here. I'm hoping that I can get out here more in the fall. I say that. I did purchase some raised beds for in here in the greenhouse. M.I. Gardener is a channel where I get, it's a YouTube channel, but also he has a store where you can buy seeds, fertilizers, any kind of gardening stuff that you want. He was selling raised beds, the metal raised beds, sort of like the, some people call it Vago beds, I call them Vigo beds, but he was selling those, and he had a 50% off sale towards the end of the season, and I purchased the last 2. So I'm going to put those in here, and I'm going to try to work on my fall gardening in here and maybe get some things going. I did have a little bit of success with my spring garden as far as like cabbages and cauliflower and broccoli, so I'm going to try to do that in the greenhouse and also in the raised beds in the garden. And for me right now here in Western North Carolina, Zone 7B, it's time to start thinking about a fall garden. It's time to start seeds inside, and so I've got that to do too. But I have to tell you guys, I love it. I mean, it's really broken my heart that I haven't been able to be out in the garden like I used to be because of my schedule. And the place that I work for, we are able to sign jobs that are available throughout the warehouse to get different scheduling. And so I have been working on that. The way it works is the job is posted for everybody in the warehouse to look at it, and everybody who wants it can sign it, and then they give it to the person with seniority. So I'm working on that because I want to be able to be home more and be in my garden and be there for the grandchildren and just enjoy home, because I enjoy home. So guys, I hope that you're having a great Saturday. I'm going to get out here and get to work and make the most of my time. Get done what I can get done, and that's how I'm going to look at it. Just get done what I can get done, and don't worry about the rest. See you guys next time at Michelle's Garden.